Starting to work out the pattern for my Companion Cube cosplay. The other day I got my thinking cap on and created this little diagram here. Sorry, it's the wrong way around. Yeah, this is my little diagram. I have obviously changed a few measurements. I was originally going to have the cube be about 70 centimeters, but I kind of looked at that on my big piece of paper and realized it was too big, so I now have a 60 centimeter cube. This is the pattern I've got so far. It's not brilliant. I'm literally just working out the measurements now. This was my original workings on the sort of like silvery block bits that go on the edge of the cube. I've had to like blue tack this all down. But then I realised that wasn't working and creating the perfect circle shape in the middle, so I found a picture of the Companion Cube. You're not going to be able to see that, I know, I'm sorry. I found this picture of it on Tinternet, which is an absolutely like a very straight picture of it. Most of them are like the cubes at an angle, so it's quite difficult to see. So I used that, zoomed in until it was about 6 centimeters, and then actually did some calculations from there. So I've got a more accurate version now, and this is what I came up with. And as you can see, it started to form a more there we go. A more well, I say perfect, it's more of an actual circle. So hopefully once I've done the same with all 4 corners, there should actually be a perfect circle in the middle. So the plan is now to carry on doing that, to just work out what bits need to go where and all that, and then what I'll do is I'll cut out each little pattern bit or do a copy of each bit, and then I can actually get on to cutting pieces of the fabric out. So see how it goes. Right, so I've finished altering the pattern for the Companion Cube. This is my final pattern. I've had a few struggles trying to get the circles right and put the heart in the right place. What I did was I got on my laptop and traced the heart out onto a piece of paper here. That's a bit of my diagram because I ended up using the same piece of paper, and then I just placed that in the middle once I'd got the circle and traced around it in the right place. So I'm now pinning it to the underlying grey fabric. I'm not sure I'm going to have enough grey fabric, so my plan is, if I don't have enough, I only need 4 sides for the outside of the skirt. The top part of the skirt I can just do in the grey fabric that I bought if I have enough of that. I've worked out I'm going to need 20 of these and 20 of these each, and so what I've done is done little pattern pieces for those as well separately, so once they're all cut out I can somehow stitch them on. What I've decided so far that I'm going to do is, I've got a seam allowance on these, so what I'm going to do is sort of put an interfacing on the back so they're nice and strong, and then fold those under so that they're a neat edge, and then I can just sew around the edge rather than sort of doing like an applique or a satin stitch, but I might do a satin stitch for the heart. So that's what's happening so far. I will get back to you when I've made some more progress. Hello all, so last night I finished cutting out the main dark grey squares for the Companion Cube. They're over there in that little bag in a pile, just waiting to go. I am now cutting out the big silvery block bits. I actually took on Rolo's advice and did something a bit different. Instead of doing them as individuals, I've actually done them doubled up. Because actually it means that I'm not having to cut out, which I did later work out, 16 individual ones. I'm cutting out 8 doubles. And then what will happen is, because I've given an extra tiny little bit of allowance in the middle, so that will go over the seams on the edges. And actually thinking what Rolo said was that will probably be a lot neater, it'll look better, and it just means a lot less cutting out for me. So although it's a bit fiddly trying to make sure that they're all exactly the same, it will just look a lot better. And then for the little pieces I only have to cut a couple of doubles, and then the rest singular ones, so because they're not going around corners, they're just going on the tops and bottoms, so I only need 4 doubles and 4 singles, I think, if I've worked that out correctly. Probably a bit more, a bit less perhaps, I don't know, but I'll work it out as I go. So yeah, the plan is to spend a day cutting these bits out, and then it's a case of cutting out the circles for the middle, which I've just remembered I need to make sure I have enough fabric for, and cutting out the heart shape and the little strips of pink. So today is basically just a day of cutting stuff out and hoping that it all goes together. Okay, so fingers crossed. Okay, so it's taken me the best part of the day, but I finally cut out all the little grey bits. Unfortunately, I've just cut out the circle, and I realised as I was doing it that I did not have enough light grey fabric, so next weekend I am gonna have to go shopping for more grey fabric, which I would have rather not had to do, but never mind. That's just the way it is, really. So, but that's all the main sort of pieces cut out, and then that's an example of what the grey square looks like at the moment. The pink fabric is up there waiting for me to cut the hearts out, but I think the plan for now is to focus on editing, well, I say editing, I don't mean editing, you know what I mean, altering those so the seam allowance is tucked in so that it looks nice and neat, so that when I sew them on, it's got a nice neat edge and there's no scruffiness about it. So that be the plan. I'm not sure whether I'm going to interface them just to make them easier to sew on when it comes to it, but we'll just see how it goes. And yeah, that's all I can really say for now, so we'll just improvise from here and see what happens, so wish me luck. Hey all, so I'm currently going through the process of pressing the basically almost the seams of the little grey bits. The big grey bits are over there waiting to go, and the square is folded up here because I have like no room or elsewhere to put it, so I'm just going through the very laborious process of ironing all this, and then what I'm going to do is lay it all out onto the grey square and stitch it all down. I'll probably pin it and probably tack it as well first, just so that they're absolutely secure, and then after I've done that I will use my sewing machine to stitch them all on. Hello! So I've just finished sewing together the big square bits of the companion cube. It's really long. Well, obviously precisely, hang on, let's do the maths, 240 centimetres, so nearly 2.5 metres long. And I've also, nearly falling over there, I've also cut and pressed the seams of the corner bits. So the plan from there is to arrange them onto these squares appropriately and pin them down, tack them down when they're in the right place, and stitch them on. So after this I need to do the same with the smaller grey chunks, but because they're a lot smaller, they're going to take a little longer because they're going to be really fiddly, so I'm not sure how well that's going to work. But after that, once all those pieces are sewn on, it's just a case of getting more fabric at the weekend and cutting out the little heart shapes and stitching all that together, and then after that it's just piping it so that it stays in place and putting a top on, putting the waistband on. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, this shouldn't be too long doing. I think it's just all the fiddly bits, like getting all these bits arranged and sewing them all on, that's going to be the thing that takes a while, because I mean it took me so long to cut them all out, so it's going to take me longer, I think, to stitch them all down in the right place. So fingers crossed it'll all go okay. And my biggest fear at the moment is that they won't add up properly, or the circle in the middle will look weird, or do you know what I mean, just like I'm worried that things just aren't going to sit in the right place. But hopefully they will, because I have been really careful with my calculations, so hopefully everything will fit into place, literally, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes from here. So I'll let you guys know how I get on. Hey guys, so it's been really quite a long time since I've done any work on my Companion Cube cosplay. I've realised that I don't have enough fabric for some of the things I need to do, so I'm going to go and do some fabric shopping. I did go and I didn't take a sample with me of the fabric that I used, so they couldn't find the one that I was after, so I'm going to have to go back again. I'm also going to have to go back again for more pink fabric because I'm currently working on the pink sort of strips that go down the middle of the cube, and I did do some, but I made them far too thin for me to press seams into, so that it will be a bit more neat for when I sew them on. So I'm just doing them a bit bigger. There I did them as 2 centimeters. Here I'm doing them as 3, so I'll be able to give them a 1 cent seam allowance to iron over, basically, to make them easier to sew on. So yeah, it's taken me a little while. I did have to retrim the squares for the main body of the cube because, sorry, I've been using my Japanese tape thing to hold down fabric. I did have to use to trim these down because they weren't quite equal squares, and I'm sure they're still not absolutely perfect, but they are significantly better than what they were. So I've just now got to do the strips and stitch those down, then I can move on to stitching down the light grey bits, and then I need to go fabric shopping for more grey to make the circles in the middle, and so I've got enough pink fabric to make the hearts. So fingers crossed I'll be able to get on with this properly again soon, but it really has been such a long time, so I hope I can get back into the swing a bit quickly, so we'll see how it goes. Morning guys, so it's Good Friday, and instead of eating hot cross buns I am making a hot cross cube. I've just finished making the little pink bits to go in the centre of the cube, and I've just sewn on the ones going down. I'm now sewing one big long line going all the way across. I'm just hoping I don't run out of bobbin thread on the way, so once I've done that I'll be able to start placing the little grey, silvery grey bits down. They're just waiting up there. I have so many mugs of tea in here, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on doing that and see how it goes. Hi all, so I've just finished pinning down all of the silver bits, apart from obviously the circles in the middle with the hearts, which I haven't done yet, but I went fabric shopping yesterday and I now have more than enough fabric to keep me going. I might even do the top in the dark grey again now instead of the black like I originally planned. That's the kind of fabric I bought as well to make a skirt because I felt like it. So yeah, I've got enough fabric now. I've got enough now as well with pink to make the pink hearts. I may even double layer the pink hearts because the fabric is quite thin, 'cause it's just not plain cotton really, so because it's quite all like poly cotton really, so I'm just gonna make some hearts and the circles, which I have enough fabric for now. Now my plan is to get my needle and thread and tack all this. I really don't want to tack all of it, but I know that if I don't it'll just go wrong, so I'm going to tack all of this down, get as much of that done as I can, and then I will start on the circles for the middle, so let's see how it goes. So I finished sewing on all the little silver bits and the big silver bits as well onto the main body of the Companion Cube. I'm now just going to give it a bit of a press just so that all the creases are out in time to put these on. These are the circles that go around the middle. I have somehow managed to iron a seam allowance in this, and I'm really pleased actually. I had to redo the pattern for the circle because the original one wasn't a proper circle, so I got a normal dinner plate and then drew around that and then added on whatever extra allowance I needed. So those are all done, so what I will do is iron this and sew those on, and then I will start working on the hearts. Hello! Currently working on the hearts to go on the cube. That is the cube so far. I managed to successfully sew on the circles into the middle of the cube bits, and they actually look really neat. I'm really pleased with how they came out. They could do probably a little bit of a press just to, you know, make sure they're nice and tidy. But once I've done that, I'm gonna stick these on so they're all cut out. Just need to do that basically, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Guys, I just sewed on the first heart! Yay! Looks alright actually, I'm really pleased. What I did in the end was I didn't have a seam for them to fold over like I did with these squarey bits, because it was too round and it was just gonna get really fiddly. So what I did was cut it as the actual size of the heart, and I used fray stop glue around the edges, and then I got some iron-on interface and ironed that to the hearts just to give them a bit more of a sturdiness basically, which has actually helped a hell of a lot when sewing them on. It's made them a lot easier to sew on. So yeah, that's the first one properly sewn on. You can't see kind of that it's the cube at the moment because it's kind of hanging over the sewing machine. I've got the other hearts all pinned into place here, and one of them somewhere underneath all of that is tacked on. So yeah, I pinned and tacked the hearts first before I sewed them on. So yeah, I'm just gonna carry on sewing them now. So yay! It's going well, guys, it's going well. Hey all, kind of abandoned the Companion Cube recently, so I'm only just sort of getting back to it. A couple of weekends ago I kind of spent all my sewing energy making a skirt for when I go away, so yeah, the one that I got the pretty fabric for. So yeah, that's all finished. It's in my wardrobe. I may show you at some point, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so I'm now working on the waistband for the Companion Cube. The rest of the cube is kind of screwed up over there somewhere, and it kind of looks really messy. So I'm now working on the belt, the waistband. So I've got my stretchy waistband elastic here, and I'm just feeding it through this. Basically what I did was I cut a 60cm square out of the dark fabric, then cut it into triangles and sewed the triangles back together, as weird as that sounds. I then kind of stitched up part way up the triangles to make that seam there, and basically the length of triangle is kind of hard to show you. This length here should attach to the tops of that screwed up bit of cube over there. So and then this will go around my waist, obviously, as a waistband, and that way I'll be able to stretch it over. The original idea with using the garden wire isn't going to work. I've tried it, it's just not going to work. So I'm next going to try wooden dowels. I've bought some. They're currently at my boyfriend's house. I just need a couple of holes drilled into them, and then they're all going to connect up. But once all that's sorted, I'll show you anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on doing this waistband now and hope that I can get it on without any problems. Hey guys, so it's been a while since I've done anything on my cube again, because I've been doing God knows what else. I've just started doing some Lara Croft cosplay stuff, which I will update you about in another video, but I'm currently working on the cube, and here I have the pieces of wood I bought in the shop in B&Q to use for the frame, and as you can see there are some holes in. This afternoon Rolo and his dad and I basically cut all these. I did most of the sawing to get them the right length, but Rob did the Rolo did the little holes at the tops and made it into a frame. I'll have to show you how it frames out in a bit. but one's just currently drying because it broke slightly. So but now what I'm doing is just putting in some elastic on the seams, and originally I was going to use the seams themselves, but obviously that just wasn't going to work because things had to change, and the seams, as you can see, are now really thin. So what I'm doing is using bits of elastic, and what I'm doing is threading these pieces of wood through that, so that it sits nice and snug against the seam, and then once all those are in, I can put the frame together while sliding them through, so that basically it all holds together in a cube shape. It does form a really nice cube using this, so I'm really hoping that it will all hold together and stay together for when the fabric's on, because it's quite a strong cube on its own. Rob was sort of like flicking it around a bit, so and only one piece sort of came out. So what I'll do for the convention, which is this weekend, oh my god, is I will put some tape around the corners just to be a bit more secure. But apart from that, that means that the cube is very nearly finished. Hey everybody! So I've left filming for a really long time for this cosplay. I'm really sorry, but I had an absolute disaster with it because I wanted to obviously do the wooden frame, which Rolo helped me make, and looked like it was going to go really well, and then we tried putting it onto the cube fabric and it didn't work, and I was obviously really gutted about that. I didn't get to finish it in time for MCM Expo, which I was really gutted about, obviously, but I recently was at work, and my colleagues were just about to throw out a massive load of cardboard, so I managed to get a hold of it and use it to finish my companion cube, so it's all done. This is going to be a little weird because I'm trying to use a selfie stick to show you the cube, but here it is. The waistband is, if I can get it over, there we go. The waistband is a little loose of me, and I think the main reason it's pulling quite a lot of the sides is because there's not enough of this bit of fabric here. So in future, if I have time, what I might do is just unpick this, add a little extra to it, just so that it's not pulling at these edges here and I'm missing loads, and I'm having to shimmy it down a bit, but otherwise it's all finished, so I'm really chuffed with it, considering how much stress I was under trying to get it done. I can't believe I said in my introduction video to this that it was going to be simple but challenging. It wasn't simple, it was just challenging and frustrating, but I'm really glad it's done. Basically what I did was use the cardboard, put it into a cube shape, and then I used pieces of wood just to reinforce the top of it so it held that cube shape nicely, and then basically all I have to do is put on some, well, I'm either going to wear like plain black clothes, so if I was in a black room it would look like the cube was just floating around, or I'm going to find some sort of portal themed clothing to wear with it. So it's done, and all I need now is a convention to go to, so hopefully I can go to one soon and show this little thing off. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment if you did, tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Always tell me if there's things I can improve on, because I'm always looking to improve my videos, and don't forget to check out my Facebook, my Instagram and my Tumblr too. So thanks very much for watching, Cupcakes. See you soon. Bye.